I'm terribly sorry for the interruption. Marvin had an unexpected motorcycle malfunction over in Sturgis, so I'll be taking over for him. My name is Aileen May, and this is The American Dream on Literature Works. What Marvin was just about to cover was how two famous works of literature tie into our theme of the American Dream. For example, in The Great Gatsby, the characters created all seem to revolve around material things. The only thing that matters is how people view you and what they think of you. Jay Gatsby created this perfect life to complete with the mansion and a million silk shirts. Gatsby started out with very little money but rose to greatness out of sheer luck and willpower. He created an entirely new persona for himself, which was a man full of mystery and deep pockets. He reinvented himself to impress a young married lady named Daisy. He threw extravagant parties every night and surrounded himself with merry people, but he never felt complete. The only thing that made him happy was Daisy, and she was taken. Jay completely changed his life by harnessing the sheer willpower that comes along with believing in the American dream. Like Marvin said before, the dream is to have the freedom to make your own life and to make it without the fear of ridicule. Similarly, in The Glass Menagerie, Laura's mother tries to reinvent her own life by pushing her children to make something of themselves. The mother is a very hard-headed woman who basically pushes her children away with her help. In any way, it is how not to achieve the American dream. Laura lives her life walking to museums and glass shops filled with tiny unicorns. This book connects to the dream of the one that one shouldn't let oneself be bossed around by someone else. You need to take life by the reins and make something of yourself, which is exactly what Amanda was trying to instill into her children. They just wouldn't listen to her. Just like the American Dream connects to widely known literature, it also connects to little-known works like The Tide Rises, The Tide Falls by Henry Wadsworth, and El Dorado by Edgar Allan Poe. The Tide poem is as follows. The tide rises, the tide falls. The twilight darkens, the curlew calls. Along the sea sands damp and brown, the traveler hastens toward the town. And the tide rises, the tide falls. Darkness settles on the roof and walls, but the sea in the darkened calls. The little waves with their soft white hands efface the footprints in the sands. And the tide rises, the tide falls. The morning breaks, the seeds in their stalls stamp and neigh as the hostler calls. The day returns, but nevermore returns the traveler to the shore, and the tide rises, the tide falls. In the long sleepless... And that was it. So... Just one moment, please. Basically, the poem speaks about how the sea is a constant creature, and how the tide will always rise and fall. The island will always be erased of whatever marred its surface. The travelers will come and go, but the sea will always be constant. What my fellow colleagues and I drew from this poem is that there is always an opportunity to better yourself. Tomorrow is behind you and today is yet to come. Make yourself better than you were yesterday, for today won't matter tomorrow. Confusing, right? I know. But somebody that only wants to improve themselves, this is the way of thinking that makes sense. Take Poe's El Dorado. It reads, Gately bedlight, a gallant knight, in sunshine and in shadow, had journeyed long, singing a song in search of El Dorado. But he grew old, this knight so bold, and o'er his heart a shadow fell as he found no spot of ground that looked like El Dorado. And as his strength failed him at length, he met a pilgrim shadow. Shadow, said he, where can it be, the land of El Dorado? Over the mountains, over the moon, down the valley of the shadow. Ride boldly, ride, the shade replied, if you seek for El Dorado. In summary, this poem is about a knight who is in search of the city of gold, El Dorado. He spends his whole life chasing after this fantasy, only to get nowhere. In many respects, this is a sad reality for most people. In order for people to make their future better, they hold on to certain things that end up hurting them. Yes, the dream states that anyone can make their own life, but it doesn't say it's going to be rewarding or even happy. But one's only solace would be knowing that they picked it for themselves. Well, it seems we are running out of time, folks. Thank you for watching The American Dream on Literature Works. I'll see you next time.